Yeah, so what are the steps that someone who is good at something that they could or should take in order to monetize that skill or that talent that they may possess?
To monetize your skill, I would say the key thing to monetize and to let people know about you and what you're capable of is marketing your skill. So whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, social media, by hearsay, promoting yourself, um, simple things like your website. It's key to letting people know that you're out there.
Okay, guys, are we ready? All right, showtime.
Welcome to another episode of Urpreneur. Today, I get to interview the renowned photographer, Yaisa Tangwell. So, Yaisa will tell us a little bit about her background and how she ended up in photography and all that exciting stuff. So, Yaisa, over to
Over
you.
to me. Okay. Well, I started photography about 13 years ago, right? I don't have a photography background. I started doing accounting when I was,
Accounting,
yes, I was
photography.
accounting, I was in the accounting field, finance.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely connected.
Yeah, studied ACCA, didn't study photography
That's great
whatsoever.
to have with for photography, I assume.
Yes, yes. And then I I wanted to change I had to change my career
Right.
because I got pregnant, right? And then I
So it's
left
all
my
hubby's fault.
yeah, it's all his fault.
Okay.
So, I had to, stop being in the corporate world. And when you have your firstborn, it's the best thing since sliced bread and you want to be with them all the time. So I needed something more flexible.
Right.
And I've always, wanted to do something, creative, to have a creative outlet. So, I said, well, let me try my hand at photography.
So
And
how
that's how
did
I
you know
started.
you were good at it?
I didn't know I was good at it.
So don't know how did you just decide photography? Is it like you as a hobby you used to take photos
I
and you loved
used
it?
to. I mean,
Or
yeah, not really, but I I always wanted to do something creative, like in high school in Bishops. When you have to choose your subjects, I always wanted to choose art.
right.
And my dad was like, "You can't make money doing art or being anything, doing anything creative. You need to choose business subjects."
Was he
So
right?
no, he wasn't right.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So obviously, I went in that direction.
Right.
I had to do business accounting. I did the A levels. I did ACCA, and I continued my career in business and accounting.
Wow.
And then went to England for about 7 years. Did that as well.
Wow.
Yes.
So you were obviously good at what you did.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, and
then came back home and yes, had this baby and I needed to be with him all the time. I said, let me, you know, now get into something that I love now that I have the opportunity. Sometimes you need
yes.
a drastic change to kind of jolt you into a different direction. So I said, well, let me try my hand at photography.
So I'm curious. So then, when you decided, let me try my hand at photography, how did that evolve into a business? Did you go and register it and then say, tell your family and friends, hey, I'm doing photography? Or did you start by doing free gigs? Or how did you
I started,
actually?
yeah, how did I get into it?
Yes.
I use my kids as models,
Okay.
first of all.
Those are always good,
Yeah,
cute kids.
they can't
That'll
say
work.
anything about it. So they
Yes.
were my models. I purchased some equipment. I practiced on them. I did some free gigs. I did family shoots. Um, I did some weddings that, I kind of used that as my portfolio and stuff
Okay.
like that. And, did a website. My husband did the website for me.
Okay.
And from there, business started building. People saw the pictures, they liked it. Back then, Facebook was new and Facebook had a huge audience. So, I got popular from people seeing my work and social media and stuff like that. And that's how it built. It just kind of snowballed into something bigger and bigger.
So, do you ever miss the accounting and finance world, or you think
no.
photography, that's it, that you found your niche?
Yeah, I think I found my niche. It's definitely my passion. I can't see myself sitting behind a desk. And I could sit behind a desk for hours editing, but I can't with a cat. No, that's not for me anymore.
Okay, so I mean, you're pretty well known. Your business seems to be doing well.
Yeah.
What do you want from your business? Let's say in 5-10 years, do you have I don't know, a bigger vision for the
Bigger
business
vision.
as opposed to where you are now?
Yeah.
Which you're doing pretty well now, it seems to me.
Well, we don't only have, we do wedding photography. I mean, when we started doing photography only for weddings, and then we, progressed to doing cinema, and then from, wedding events to corporate and commercial work, and that kind of, picked up a bit. And then, Marcus is always looking at, looking ahead, looking for, advancement in technologies. And, we kind of invested into live streaming and virtual events. Back then it wasn't, popular.
Right.
Right. So, we've evolved from just doing that weddings to doing commercial and virtual events. So in 5 years, I'm hoping that, we keep up with the time, keep up with technology, and that, we're still relevant and we're still doing what we love, because we're passionate about these things.
So how has the pandemic affected your business?
How has it affected it? Well,
Good,
there are no
bad?
weddings.
Have you had to evolve?
Well, because we've diversified, thank God we did, right? We've diversified from, just doing weddings alone, to doing, virtual and corporate events and, live streaming. And it's more or less kind of shifted.
Right.
So where the demand before, virtual events were just kind of like an add-on, now it's like, it's kind of exploded. Like we're really busy on that side of it right now, even though the weddings have gone down.
Yes.
So it's a good thing that we've diversified. So we seem to be doing okay for now, So yeah, I mean, I do miss my weddings. I do, because that is, that's my outlet of, my way of being creative, my
Yes.
creative outlet. So soon, hopefully.
Well, I'm sure you'll think of a new way to, I guess, do your weddings and events. So as you said, you've now had an explosion with the virtual events.
So now it's like, mixed,
Yes.
So it's, smaller in person, and then, you can have hundreds
Yes,
on a
right,
screen,
right,
and you can
right.
make it memorable. You could send them, little packages and stuff like that, so they can be part of the entire,
True, yes.
So I've had a bride who've done that, recently, so that they,
idea.
still feel as part of the wedding.
Right.
So it's not totally, and it was very lovely. It was, because it was so intimate. It was very emotional, seeing everybody on the screen. And, you got to invite people you wouldn't necessarily invite.
True, because usually the budget.
Yeah, exactly. And they're far, far away.
It's
so,
a constraint.
Exactly. So it actually worked out pretty well.
Okay. So looking back at how your business has grown and evolved, is there anything you would have done differently now that, in hindsight?
Not really. No, I can't think of anything that I would have done differently. I mean, no, I don't have anything.
Well, okay, well, that's good.
Everything, yeah.
That's good.
I think we've tried, different things. Some have worked out, some haven't, So I don't have any regrets, because we've learned from, things that didn't work out, you know, so I wouldn't say I would do things differently. Yeah.
Would you say that you're naturally entrepreneurial, or was it that specific situation that drove you into doing your own thing, or were you kind of kindling an entrepreneurial spirit or dream before?
Yes, yes, I was.
Okay.
I think what's key to being an entrepreneur is having that passion, because without that passion and that drive, you really can't make it. You have to be persistent and just, you know, love what you do, and then you'll be successful, you know. You'll put your all into it, and then, you know, you can be the best.
So Isa, can you think of something that you're particularly happy about or proud about when you look back at your entrepreneurial journey?
I think I'm pretty happy and proud about how I somehow found that balance between being a mother and running a business, because it's pretty difficult. Believe me, it's pretty difficult to have that balance, because you have to split your time between something that you're passionate about and someone that, you know, really needs you to be there.
In terms of this entrepreneurial spirit that you and your husband both have, is that something that you think you'll pass on to your children, or
Definitely.
or will you encourage them to pursue professional,
No, we've been
traditional?
encouraging them from all now to start their own business.
Wow.
Because even our son is very entrepreneurial. He is, you know, he's a very strong individual.
Okay.
So we just like, you know, the kind of lifestyle we have in terms of, you know, being there with the kids and having that balance with business, you know, rather than, you know, people sometimes are at a 9 to 5 job and don't see their kids until they get home like 7, 8 in the night. And I didn't want that for my family. I wanted, you know, us to spend time together as well. So that's something that I will encourage, because it gives you that flexibility as well, you know. And, you know, I'm trying to, you know, encourage them in different fields, you know, not necessarily become a lawyer or a doctor, you know. We bought our son a DJ set recently, you know, just to, you know, see. He's 13 now. He's, you know, goes to high school. You know, let's see, you know, if
Is
that's
he allowed to
something-
accept gigs?
Is he what?
If he's allowed to accept gigs.
Oh, not yet.
Or just to practice?
Just to practice, to see, you know, what he's interested in. You know, we're
Right.
not going to the typical fields. It might be something we want them to enjoy what they're doing as well. Because we realize that once you have a passion and a love for something, you'll be unstoppable. So I prefer that kind of lifestyle for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
In retrospect, do you wish that you had started your business earlier?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. Actually, yes.
Like
and
right
no.
out of high school?
I don't know.
Out
Yes
of,
and no. I think that time we had, you know, being in that field and getting to travel and that sort of stuff kind of, you know, opened my eyes. And I think without that experience and independence, it would not have helped me to do this now, for sure. I think, yeah.
So you think everything happened in the right time?
Everything in its right time. Yes,
and
yes.
that experience somehow, you know, lent to the success and I guess who you are as an entrepreneur.
It is.
Okay.
Yes, it did, for sure.
So what would your advice be to somebody who is similar to you, kindling that entrepreneurial dream, or, you know, thinking of starting their own business, but they're unsure, or they don't know where to start?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I say if you have, you know, a drive and a passion for something that you love, I say go for it, because if you don't have that, you know, that passion and, you know, then it's pretty difficult to, you know, to push yourself. You have to be self-motivated when you are, you know, running your own business, you know. So I think, why not? If you have, you know, something that you love, then go for it.
What would you tell them, I guess, the maybe some of the biggest things to consider or to keep in mind if they are going to take the plunge?
If they are going to take the plunge?
Yeah.
You have to be, well, as I said, self-motivated, right? If you are going to take plunge, um, you have to be, you are your own boss. You have to market yourself. You have to stay relevant. It's a lot of work. Yeah, you have to put in a lot of work to do, what we do. It pushes you physically and mentally. Sometimes social media, plays its role in, discouraging you and stuff, but you need to, not lose focus and just have that drive.
Tell me more about that last sentence when you say that social media can discourage you. Tell me more of what you're thinking when you said that.
Yeah.
Come on, don't hold back on me now.
What?
What you thinking? It sounds true, but it sounds like there's more behind that statement. What do you mean?
Right now there's, obviously a lot of competition and people, can become discouraged.
Do you mean like people looking on social media and comparing themselves to others and becoming discouraged by?
Sometimes, try not to compare yourself to other people's work.
Right.
You have to believe in what you do and, be strong in your choices and, not be influenced by other people's, comments or judgments of your work.
How do you do that?
How do you do? Just don't look at it. Delete. Yeah.
How do you ensure that you're staying on top of your game or ahead of your game?
You have to, well, social media is good and bad. You always have to keep ahead of the trends, see what's trending in terms of photography styles, in terms of, editing styles and stuff like that. Also advancement in technology. I mean, we had to diverse from photography and doing virtual events. So we always had to keep on, Marcus had to keep on looking at advancement in technologies and newer ways to do things. So, yeah.
So it's almost like you have to be your own research
R&D and
yes,
marketing
and development department. Right.
HR and everything. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of work owning your own business, but it's very rewarding. It is.
So do you think that, I guess, every professional should at some point aspire to own their own business, or you think it requires a particular mindset?
I think it requires a particular mindset. You have to be a strong individual and, you have to be a self-motivator. And yeah, I think it takes, because it takes a strong individual to start a business, I think.
Have you had seasons where things weren't going the way you planned and, it made you second guess?
Yes, well, not really.
Well, lucky you.
No. We've been pretty, good so far. And I think because we've diversified, that helped with our success. You can't depend on, just one thing alone. Can't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to diversify into other things, which we did.
Yeah. So so you're a great mix because you have a business background and you have, a particular skill that you've monetized or an eye or, that artistic flair that you've managed to monetize. What are the steps that someone who is good at something that they could or should take in order to monetize that skill or that talent that they may possess? I guess I want you to break it down, make it simple. So I'm good at whatever. How can I now make sure that I'm marketing it or offering it and earning an income from that?
How is that possible? To monetize your skill, I would say the key thing to monetize and to let people know about you and what you're capable of is marketing your skill. So whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, social media, by hearsay, promoting yourself, simple things like your website. It's key to letting people know that you're out there. So that is, I think, marketing plays a big role into how you can monetize, your skill sets and start your business. I think that's one of the major things in,
Would they have to outsource this marketing? Because I guess especially if you don't have a marketing background or you're
Yeah.
not a marketer, how do you
I think it's
market your skill?
Yeah, I think it's, the resources are out there and it's, available to everyone now. Especially for, the mompreneurs and the, small entrepreneurs. It's easy to start off with that. And then after a while it becomes overwhelming and you have to hire someone to help you, right? But yeah, I think it's something that you can start on your own, but you have to be consistent with it. You can't, as soon as you stop, like putting media and stuff out there, and people, you become, it's like out of sight, out of mind. So it needs to be consistent.
Wow.
Yeah, in this field, yes, definitely.
So you're saying then that they can't just put, let's say, something static, like a place an ad. It's something that it's
Yeah, and add in a newspaper, no, it's not going to work. I think it's continuous.
okay.
And people, I've spoken to other photographers, and keeping up with marketing yourself, it's like a job on its own, because you have to be relevant.
So, like, with what kind of frequency would they need to be putting out?
With my field, at least 4 times a week, 5 times a week.
What?
Yes, and then you have to think of, what you're going to say and how you're going to post
It's best
it.
you say you're a professional marketer.
Yeah, exactly. It's a job on its own, It is.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that it was
Yeah.
that demanding and
It
that the
is
frequency
demanding.
needed to be that
Yeah.
much to be top of mind.
Yeah. It
Oh
is.
wow! So, okay, so in terms of somebody marketing themselves, is it that they just throw up some videos or throw up some posts, or should they do some research around how best to market their product, or how does
I mean, social media has so many outlets now. I mean, video is key. Photos, live streaming is, was popular and is still popular. And getting, people out there to know what you're doing. So all those outlets are available and readily available to everybody. You just have to be consistent with it. Yeah.
when you were just starting your business, what were the main challenges you faced? So I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say that accessing capital, so like let's say to buy equipment,
Yes.
or if you need to rent a space, what was your experience in terms of the major challenges?
That was that is challenging for us. Equipment is not readily available in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
So, and camera equipment is very expensive. So, you have to, I mean, that is a big challenge in getting, equipment to you, even, getting it repaired and stuff like that is, a big cost to us. And technology is ever changing. So there's always something new and always something different. So you always have to find yourself investing in new things. which is, a big cost for this type of field. Yeah, the capital outlay.
Did you find that you needed a lot of guidance from other business people or other photographers, or did you need like a mentor or mentors?
I did. I remember when I started out, I did reach out, and I think because the field can be competitive, we lack that camaraderie and giving guidance to other photographers in the field. So when I first started, I didn't get anybody to really give me any kind of guidance. I had to learn things on myself, and Marcus would learn things, and we'd share information with each other. And it's right now, entrepreneurs need that guidance, someone to tell them, what are the steps. But it's pretty hard to get help from other entrepreneurs because of there being competition.
So Yaisa, how were you able to diversify? How did you know what next to look at for your business?
Well, to be honest, we had no idea that this would have been so big. I think it happened because of COVID, virtual events and live streaming. But back then, when we were investing in it, we had no idea that it'll be, something that people would, have a demand for. So we just took a bet. So we didn't really know. I mean, we took a bet on a lot of things that didn't work out, but this bet was right.
Yes.
So we didn't really have a plan, in terms of, we knew this was going to be successful. So.
Okay. So, well, that's good to hear, because I think many times when people look at a successful business or a successful entrepreneur, you feel like, oh, they have it all together and everything is so strategic. But I love the fact that you share that, okay, we knew we needed to diversify, and we tried different options, and this one happened to be the one that took off, or is doing well given the circumstances.
Yeah, and not everything you try will be successful, and you have to be willing to take the chance, take those risks to trying other things.
Right. So there's a risk that it might not work, and then I assume you would have had to invest in specific equipment.
Yes, money. Yes.
Right.
You're like, okay, all right, well, let's get back up and try out something again.
Right.
But that's, all parts of being an entrepreneur. You have to get back up and try something again. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to take a bet, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've shared a lot about your entrepreneurial journey and, some of the do's and don'ts, and you've provided some tips and advice. But separate and apart from the business, we want to know more about you.
Okay.
So can you share something with us that maybe not everybody knows, or maybe something quirky about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's something that's, been kept a secret for so long. Only a few friends know. It's an embarrassing story, and I don't tell anybody. Okay. Every time they bring it up, I'm like, no, let's forget about that.
Okay.
So back in high school, I had this little dance group where we used to dance hip hop, and we actually used to perform in like Fatima Mayfair. I think I got like $100 or something for that. And I think we tried out for party time, but we didn't make it. A group of 3, hip hop,
I would never have guessed.
Yeah. So now and again, people ask me to bust my moves, but,
Do you still have moves?
No. Well, yes. With a couple of drinks, I do have some moves, and I do bust my moves, but no.
Wow.
Not on camera.
Okay, I definitely would not have guessed that. Okay.
Yes. So my friends would be proud to hear that I'm actually, claiming that. Yes, Patrice and Campbell. Yes, they'll be very proud of me.
Oh wow. Okay, I won't ask you to bust a move here. I'll resist the temptation, but maybe off camera.
Yes,
you'll have to show me
so.
a move. Oh my gosh. Yaisa, it's been a pleasure hearing about your story and your journey.
Yes.
And thank you for being so candid and open
Thank
with
you
us.
to UTC
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Urpreneur. Very insightful, very educational, and very open and honest. So we look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Take care.